Welcome back to another anime review. This time the show will be I Made Friends with the Second Prettiest Girl in My Class, Episode 3. Yeah, so in this episode you finally figure out why Amane wants to be friends with Mahara. It's just because that she believes she's a nice person and that he actually looks into her eyes when he's talking to her. Now originally I was like, that's like an easy standard for making friends, but judging by the way the students act at the end of this episode, maybe most of the students are actually bad people. Anyway, let's get into this episode. So this episode starts out with Amane asking Mahara if he wants to eat lunch together with her, and she invites Asanagi along just so he could feel more comfortable. Now they go to Mahara's favorite spot to eat lunch together, and they try some of his homemade lunch, and apparently he made it himself. So like they find out that he's actually a good cook, and then they're like, oh, do you also want to make sweets and all that? And he's like, yeah, I made such and such the other day. And you know, Amane, she's feeling bad about that because she thought that she was decent making sweets, but she's nothing compared to him. So Amane, she's curious about his special homemade pancakes, so she asks if she can come over to his house. He agrees to it, and she's like, oh yeah, Asanagi, she might as well come along as well. So they come over, he makes them something to eat, you know what I'm saying? They also play video games, and while they're playing video games, it turns out that Amane is really a good gamer, apparently. Even though she doesn't really play video games like that, but she's able to figure out some buttons to like the game that nobody else could. So her and Mahara gets to talking, and that makes Asanagi starts to feel a little bit jealous, I believe. So time passes, now it's time for the girls to go home, and as they're walking down the street, Amane decides that she probably wants to take him out to eat too, to pay him back for the meal that she just got. Yeah, so she calls Mahara, and he tells her no because he got to spend Friday with a friend, because she offers to spend the day with him on Friday. But like I said, we all know that he spends his Fridays with Asanagi. So that makes Asanagi flustered, and she runs back to his apartment. He's like, oh, did you forget something and all that? And then she like just pinches his nose and then run off. Like, yo, what's up with this girl? So Friday comes along and it's business as usual, you know what I'm saying? They playing video games, having a good time. But this time, apparently a new light novel just came out, and she wants to read it. And he has the final volume. So they decide to read it together. And they all like, oh, now that they read the final volume, they want to start over from the beginning again. So they start reading it from volume 1, and they eventually get tired and they fall asleep. So while they're sleeping, Mahara's mother's come home, and she catches them sleeping in his room, and she gets upset with them. So she calls Asanagi's family just so she can let them know that she's gonna be spending the night over there, because I guess his mother doesn't have a car. So now it's the next day, and Asanagi, she brings Mahara over to her house, and I guess she did that so that he can apologize for having her spend the night at his place, and he can probably clear up any misunderstandings. You know, Asanagi's mother's being cool about it. She doesn't really mind it too much. She just want to know what's going on with her. And she also wanted to meet her daughter's first boyfriend. And I noticed that when she called him her boyfriend, she never denied it. So time passed again. Now they're back in school, and their homeroom teacher says she has to pick the class reps for the festival and all that, and it gotta be a boy and a girl. So Mahara, he gets unlucky, and he gets picked as the guy rep. And then like everybody in the class started talking junk about him, you know what I'm saying? Like even the girls, like I knew that the boys was jealous of him, but I know that the girls, they didn't like him either. So hearing how all their classmates were talking bad about him, that was getting Nita upset, Amame and Asanagi. Now Nita don't even know this dude like that, but she just seemed like she's just a good person. So like I wonder when she's gonna become more relevant to the story, because like she is in the opening. Anyway, Amane gets fed with how the class talking trash about him, and she calls them out. And that is how the episode ends. Anyway, I wonder who's going to be the girl class rep to do the festival with Mahara. So this was a solid episode. My favorite part had to be when he got caught in his bedroom by his mother. So what you like or didn't like about the episode, leave a comment. And if you enjoyed this video, leave a like. And if you enjoy this content, why don't you think about subscribing? I would appreciate it. Anyway, that's all. Take care.